Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's me, Irvin, with another manga volume review. I haven't done a Yen Press manga volume review specifically sponsored by Yen Press. This has been a while since I've done this, but I really wanted to continue my partnership with Yen Press. And they send me online files of certain mangas, and lately I've been busy, been kind of skipping those out, but I really wanted to get back into the groove of reviewing Yen Press stuff, and I think they're going to send me more stuff physically for me to showcase and also review for you guys. This is actually one of the online ones that I read through their reviewer site, and it's called Chain Soldier Volume 1. So if you haven't heard of Chain Soldier, it's actually been out for a bit. I think it came out in August 16 of this year. So it's been at least a month of time of recording, pending when this video is released. It's been probably more than a month, but pretty solid first volume. And I actually remember starting reading this back in the summer, and then I completely stopped when the whole commotion started in my life. But now I'm back. I'm back to it, and I did actually enjoy the first volume. I will give some notes on it, and obviously I'm reviewing this, so I'm giving my honest opinion. Yes, they're giving me the opportunity to read it um, in a review for them, but they don't obligate me to say anything that's not my opinion. Just keep that in mind. Before anything, guys, if you haven't done so by now, subscribe to my channel. There's also a link down there where you guys can buy cheap Yen Press manga, uh, very reasonable price. So make sure you check out that link out, and make sure you use that link every single time you want to buy manga online, especially on that website, because it helps me tremendously if you guys use my link. So make sure you guys are using it. Okay, Chin Solder. Chin Solder, genre wise, I would say it's manga, fantasy. Um, I guess magic and fantasy will go together. Action for sure. And then etchy. It is etchy for sure. Um, Want to throw it out there? Every chapter has a little bit of it, if not a lot of it. Um, I don't personally go out of my way and read these stuff unless I think the story is decent enough. And this actually is a decent story. Um, the whole premises of the story is that they live in a world where females have become superior over males. And it wasn't a government or political thing as much as females were giving, through this collapse of the world, they were given this power that they can use to destroy certain beasts that started showing up in the world, and the males don't have this power. Because they don't have these powers, then they're seen as not superior. So the whole first chapter is playing with this whole how this world works, right? So we do meet our protagonist right off the bat from this, and that's going to be Yuki Wakura. And Yuki Wakura essentially is a boys' school, and we can see like how he gets to school. The trains are so small, they're compacted, and he's stuck in with a bunch of guys. Whereas the girls, they have like nice big trains and they have space, galore. So they obviously, you can see the comparison of how bad the life is for him compared to how girls have it. Now he does stumble upon a open portal and ends up in the other side uh, of the, I guess, dimension of world where all these monsters live in, and he meets Kyoka. Kyoka essentially is a girl who works for the Demon Force. Now, who is the Demon Force? Demon Force is essentially the group of ladies. At this point, they're already working to go and destroy as many demons or these creatures possible, and basically keep the dimension portals closed or secured as much as possible. Now, Yuki stumbles upon one. He ends up being chased by some of these demons, and Kyoka ends up fighting them for him. Now, at one point, they're surrounded by too many demons, and Kyoka does the only thing she can think of, which is to make Yuki her slave. Now, up to this point, she had only made demons her slaves, so she wasn't sure if it was going to work. But it did. It made Yuki very strong, and he looks like a demon essentially. And he's able to use his body to kill all these demons off. Now, because of this, there is a price to it. Kyoka has to, depending on how much her slave does for her, then she has to reward him to a certain level. And basically, there's a whole makeup section and all that. And that's where the edginess comes from. Is that each time Yuki's power is used, Kyoka has to basically offer her body to him, and that's you can see how that can get out of hand. So, he essentially joins the Seventh Squad as a slave of Kyoka, and he becomes kind of like the caregiver or caretaker, housemaid almost. And in this Seventh Squad, there's four girls. You have Kyoka, who is the leader. You have Himari, who is we don't really see her much in this volume, but other than her bossing around Yuki and you can tell she's the one that doesn't want him around. Then you have Shushu Suruga, who is a girl who can transform into. She's basically Ant Man. She can get really big or get really small. She can control her body size. And she, at one point, blackmails Yuki and makes him her slave. And again, you get a little bit of the culture shock of these girls haven't been with a boy ever because boys are are lowly. So you get some etchy scenes there as well, but they have interaction. And then you have Nei Okawamura, and she is the youngest of the team. She's 11 years old. And you don't really get much of her either, other than she's kind of the sweet one. You know, she is the youngest one. We do get multiple battle scenes in the volume itself. Um, we do get essentially what their goals are. The Seventh Squad essentially is there to protect, but Kyoka-san has her dream to become the supreme commander of the Demon Force. So she wants to jump the ranks up quite a bit. So that's her ultimate goal. And Yuki Wakura um, wants to get stronger. He doesn't want to be just a maid. He wants to be useful, but he also wants to be able to search for her sister who was lost. So all these characters kind of have their own backgrounds, and like I said, this whole volume is mainly focused on Yuki and Kyoka-san until towards the end, where we get maybe a chapter or two of Shushu Suraga kind of interacting with Yuki with the whole blackmail and you gotta do stuff for me, and it gets etchy there. So, yeah, that in a nutshell is volume one. I don't want to say too much of the story or give out too much information where you guys will have the whole story basically, and I think that's pointless. But just keep in mind those five characters you get introduced to this volume, introduced to this world, and personally, I did like it. I did like it. It is not the genre specific that I always go for. Usually, I go for horror, action, but this one does have action. It's just more on the edgy side. Um, because of all that, considering who it's written for as well, I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. I think it is. Um, I don't want to compare it to High School D&D because High School D&D is just its own thing. It did really well for it being an ecchi series as well, but it kind of does remind me of it. It just reminds me of it having a good story, but also having, you know, the fan service that people want. So considering all that, I give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's doing better than a lot of other series that are trying this. Um, they get too influenced in the fact that people like the fan service and then they forget about the good story. So personally, uh, that's a plus for me. So Chain Soldier's doing well, 7 out of 10. I think it's a good deserving rating. So go check it out. Again, thank you so much for Yem Press for giving me the ability to review it for you guys. And then secondly, if you guys want to check them out or check some books out for them, buy them from them and all that. The description is in, sorry, the links are in the description below. So thank you so much for the love and support, and I'll see you guys next time. Like always, don't be strangers. See you guys.